Hello, I'm Chloe Singer-Johnston from Minds and Money, and today we're joined by David Stein. David is the CEO of Kuya Silver. Thank you so much for being with us today, David.
Thank you, Chloe. My pleasure.
Kuya Silver is building the next high-margin silver mining company. They are developing two high-grade silver projects within historic mining camps of Canada and Peru. How have the last 12 months been for Kuya Silver? I hear you've announced some big news today. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. The last 12 months we've been plugging away and adding value, de-risking our two projects, and we're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in what's been a very, very difficult capital market situation. In terms of the precious metals equities in general. So we've been doing I think very, very well with limited resources that we've had. Now, with the announcement today, things are changing. We announced that we have a conditional strategic investment coming from Trafigura for the Bethania project in Peru. That's a recent past producing mine that we've been looking at putting back into production. So this is one of the steps that we need, and we've been guiding the market on, that we want to see a good offtake agreement in terms of selling our concentrate that we're going to be producing from this mine. We announced a toll milling agreement with basically our next door neighbor a few weeks ago, and why that was important is because it's going to significantly reduce our trucking costs. We don't have to truck our material as far, and we know the mill as well because the mine has used this mill in the past. So we've really hit the market with two really good press releases, or two big announcements on Bethania, which is now setting the stage for it to go back into production over the next several months. So and I think that's fundamental news for a company that has a past producing asset that we're now in the position where we're very close to putting it back into production. So it's thrilling.
That's great. It's really big news. You recently signed a toll milling agreement with the San Valentin plant. What other opportunities do you see for the next 12 months for Kuya Silver?
Right. So with the toll milling agreement signed, that will be more than likely where we're going to be sending our material for it to be processed. One reason why we sort of pivoted towards toll milling versus building our own plant, some of our investors or some of the listeners may recall that we actually permitted our own plant last year. And that's a big big job to do that in Peru, and we were able to do that successfully. But this will save us a huge amount of capex right now that we just don't feel like we need to spend. And what we can do then is do more exploration and justify the building of our own mill at some point in the future, when we've got more cash available through operations, and also perhaps from a better stock market. So we can defer that decision into the future, and instead we can get into production here. We feel like with the toll milling situation, we can make money doing that, and then start doing more exploration of Bethania. Bethania, we've barely scratched the surface with exploration there over the 3 years that we've been public. So we're really ready, and looking forward to getting back there, hopefully in as soon as possible in 2024, and start increasing our resource space there, which would then justify an expansion to the processing or to the milling situation.
And what other milestones can investors expect?
Well, I think on Bethania going forward, we'll start providing some operational updates. After we close this deal with Trafigura, we can start providing some operational updates as there will be a process of several months where we'll be developing the mine underground so that it's ready to go back into and start producing again, because it has been shut down for 7 years. So there'll be updates about that, and then of course first production, sometime in early 2024. First sale of concentrate, a month or two after that. So those are all big milestones that are coming on Bethania. And then, not to mention, we do have the second project in Canada, in Ontario, the Silver Kings project, and we've got quite a bit of news coming on that as we go through this drill program that's underway right now.
Could you tell us a bit more about how drilling at Silver Kings is going?
Sure. So we started our program, a few weeks ago at Silver Kings. Drilling is going very well. I mean, we're looking at I would expect that we'll have maybe our first results maybe towards the end of November, and then we'll have a few more press releases after that about what's going on there. We did some good work over the summer as well in terms of generating additional targets on the property. So there's really a lot going on at Silver Kings, we're excited. We're very, very happy with how things are looking in the first few drill holes, and we're very excited to get that news out to the market.
Great. And who are your current key shareholders and investors?
Well, I think it's great. We have management actually is still the biggest shareholder block in the company. So we and that's led by myself. And so we've got a really, really strong alignment of interest with our shareholders. It's pretty unique to public companies. And then we've got some great funds that have come in over the years as shareholders. The biggest one being Crescat Capital it would be our largest non-management shareholder out there. They've been very, very supportive, and they're great shareholders to have because they know what they're doing in the mining space and the exploration space. And they're great proponents of their holdings as well, which is really benefits us.
I mean, obviously there are lots of silver mining companies out there. What do you think differentiates Kuya Silver from the rest?
I think our biggest differentiator is we really have two. The biggest one is the fact that we can go into production relatively quickly here with Bethania, and now we're talking within the next few months. The vast majority of our peer companies are exploration companies who are drilling, and they may or may not have exciting exploration programs, but they really have no intention of ever going into production. I think investors eventually tire of that, unless they're the 1 in 100 that gets bought out. But for the vast majority, that never happens, and investors eventually get tired of that. We have a story where we're becoming a real mining company with revenue, cash flow, and future growth through exploration and mine expansions, potentially a second project in Ontario over the next few years. So I think we've really line up really, really well, and in a way that differentiates us from the vast majority of other junior companies that are out there. The other thing that's worth mentioning as well is that we will be what I would consider to be a true silver company. With Bethania, approximately 70% of our revenues would come from silver at the current metal prices. And again, when you look around at other producers out there and actually look at their mix of metal and where their revenue comes from, a lot of the guys that have silver in the name are actually not really getting most of their value or their revenue from silver. It's from, usually gold or zinc or sometimes something else. And so that's another thing I think will play into investors' psyches when we do get into a silver bull market. Certainly doesn't feel like we're there yet, but that day is coming. It always does. We're in a cyclical business, and when we do get into a bigger, silver bull market, investors will want exposure to a company that gives them silver exposure, and that's Kuya. So we feel we're really, really well positioned for that.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, David. It's been great to hear a little bit more about the company and to hear your exciting and big recent news as well.
Thank you very much for having me on.
For those that would like to find out more, please head to kuyasilver.com. This interview is brought to you by Minds and Money. Thank you everyone for watching.
Welcome to Resourcing Tomorrow, accelerating the energy transition. This event brings together the entire mining value chain, including mining and energy companies, investors, government delegates, multinational operators, educators, solution providers, and more, to learn, network, and form valuable business relationships. Today, we are proud to welcome more than 175 mining companies, 250 plus expert speakers, including C-level executives from 40 of the world's largest mining companies from over 100 countries. Australia, Canada, Chad, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, the United Kingdom and the United States will be delivering ministerial keynotes. We would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all and wish you a successful event. Make sure you log into Traxys Resourcing Tomorrow Connect meeting platform to search and schedule meetings. Enjoy the 18 hours of networking, including the daily networking receptions. During the 3 days, the Resourcing Tomorrow Plenary Theatre, the Reimagining Mining Theatre, and the Mines and Money at Resourcing Tomorrow Investment Theatre will provide action-packed takeaways, insightful discussions, and keynote presentations from top industry executives on a range of challenges and opportunities facing our sector today, including the energy transition, decarbonisation, ESG, critical minerals, the circular economy, environmental resilience, technology and innovation, capital raising and mining investment. Finally, thank you to our supporters, our partners, sponsors and exhibitors, speakers and attendees, without whom this event would not be possible. Together, we can shape the future of the minerals sector.